A man lived a really simple life. He earned an honest living, prayed every day, was a strict vegan, and never hurt anyone, physically or emotionally. One morning, he was on his way to work, walking on his side of the road, when out of nowhere, a speeding truck came out of control and slammed right into him. He was in excruciating pain. In the end, he died on the spot. And then there's this other guy. He's just plain evil. He makes money through shady or dishonest ways, doesn't believe in God, kills and eats animals, hurts people on a daily basis, and constantly uses abusive language. Yet somehow, he's living the good life. He has everything he wants and seems to be enjoying it all without a care. Now here's a question that naturally comes up. If there's a God, and he's supposed to be merciful, just, and loving toward every creature in the universe, then why did that good man have to die like that, and evil one is enjoying the life? If things like this keep happening to good people, then what's the point of being good at all? That leaves us with two possibilities. Either God exists, but he's not truly merciful, or maybe he doesn't exist at all. This is the kind of question that crosses the minds of many believers. And honestly, it's questions like these that lead a lot of well-educated, logical, and scientifically minded people to either become atheists, or at the very least, start drifting away from the idea of God altogether. Here we will explain this in the most logical and scientific way. The first reason for suffering is this. Once a soul takes on a body in this universe, it's bound to experience both pleasure and pain. Since the soul itself is intangible, it can't actually feel anything, good or bad, through material things or nature unless it's connected to a physical body with 5 senses. It's only through these senses that the soul can perceive and experience the world. First, we will explain what suffering actually is and why we have to go through it. A lot of atheists and agnostics wonder, if God loves everyone, then why do people have to go through things like tsunamis, floods, wildfires, storms, pandemics, and chronic illnesses? We get a great response by looking at Eastern philosophy. There's this principle that says when a soul gets a body, it's going to face 3 types of suffering or pain. The first type comes from physical and mental issues, like diseases or mental health struggles. The second comes from the bodies of other living beings, humans, animals, or even insects can cause us harm. And the third type comes from natural disasters, things like lightning, tsunamis, pandemics, and so on. Now, the big question is, why is there suffering at all? Well, the reason is that we have 5 senses: sight, smell, touch, taste, and hearing, which allow us to experience both pleasure and pain. Feeling pleasure is a natural part of the soul, but in order to experience that, the soul also has to endure pain and suffering through these 3 types. Take, for example, the tortoise. Its hard shell means it can't feel pain the way we do when it's hurt. So, the ability to feel pleasure and pain is linked directly to having these 5 senses. If we have a physical body, we have to accept that we'll experience both pleasure and pain through these senses. This is why God gives us repeated lifetimes, because the soul keeps coming back to experience more. It's on all of us to reduce suffering and pain in the world and make our lives, and others, more blissful. That's why we're creating these videos. Your support keeps us inspired and keeps this journey going. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Now, let's dive back into our logical exploration. Whether someone experiences pleasure or pain really depends on the actions of the souls have taken. Not just their own, but also the actions of others around them. That's because what other people do can also affect your life. In our scenario, a good person was hurt in an accident caused by a truck driver. That tragic event was the result of the truck driver's actions, and he'll eventually face the consequences of what he did. Maybe in this life by other souls, or definitely after death by God. That's why God lets everyone make their own choices, even the wrong ones, so that the consequences, whether good or bad, are truly earned after death. So that's why God doesn't intervene wrongdoers or evildoers. Another reason could be that a good person might have done something in a past life that leads to their death as a consequence. Let's break it down with an example. Imagine God gives one soul the opportunity to be born into a wealthy family, while another soul is born into a poor one. Why this kind of discrimination by God, if we believe God is fair to all souls? Well, it must simply be that the differences we see are the results of actions from past lives. We're definitely living under God's system. Just because we can't physically feel or see Him doesn't mean He doesn't exist. God is all-powerful, present everywhere, and both just and merciful. He created the universe for souls to experience joy and to carry out their actions. God doesn't interfere with our free will or choices. He lets us act on our own. But after we die, He delivers justice to everyone, and accordingly we get our next life. That's what the afterlife is all about. We'll keep bringing you powerful, thought-provoking spiritual content that'll not only make your day, might just change your life, and help you become a more peaceful, blissful person. Let us know in the comments what topic you want us to cover next. Catch you in the next one. Thanks.